Hey guys, Matthew Lippert back here again with another video. This time I'm doing some biscuits, some homemade biscuits. These are some amazing biscuits. I never was much of a baker. Uh, I just wasn't very good at it. I just struggled to make things, and especially working with dough, it sticks to your hands. It gets pretty frustrating sometimes. The first time I made these biscuits, I thought I was going to lose my religion. It was pretty frustrating, and I'm getting a little bit better at it. I still may get sometimes I still get a little bit frustrated, but it's just the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it's a timing thing. And before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and that bell icon. That way, every time I upload new content, you'll be notified. And share these videos, and let me know what you think. Try these recipes, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you changed on it. And this biscuit recipe, you can still change it. I haven't added anything. Well, one time I added a little bit of oil, but it's a 3 ingredient biscuit recipe. Real simple. It's a cup of self-rising flour, a cup of buttermilk, and a stick of frozen grated butter. Now, if you don't have buttermilk, you can easily make your own. Take a cup of milk, put a tablespoon of either lemon juice or vinegar in there, stir it up, let it set for 10 minutes, and there you got buttermilk. So if you go to make this recipe and you realize you don't have buttermilk, most people have either lemon juice or in the refrigerator or vinegar around. So go ahead and make your own buttermilk. That's what I do. I don't buy buttermilk for this. It's the only thing I use it for. So every time I make this recipe, almost every Saturday morning, I just make my own buttermilk. So and that's what I'm going to be using this morning. So let me go ahead and flip this camera around, and we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm back here getting ready to mix this stuff together. I've got my self-rising flour. I've got my buttermilk. I'm going to grab that in just a second. And I've got my 1 stick of butter. I guess it's like half a cup of butter. First time I made this, I made it with twice that much. And although it was very good, probably not the healthiest in the world. Not that biscuits are healthy anyway. So I'm going to start out with 1 cup of flour. I learned this over the years. I used to just dip this thing in there and fill it full. Well, flour packs, so you want to put it in there into this 1 cup with a smaller cup, and then just you tap it a little bit, get the air out of it, but get it nice and smooth there, so that you're not getting too much. Because if you just scoop it down into the flour, you're going to end up with more than a cup because it's going to pack it in there. There you get a nice cup. All right, now I'm going to take the butter and I'm going to grate this butter up into here. And this is kind of messy and slimy, and as you're holding onto this butter, obviously it's starting to melt. And you can do it with the bigger holes or the smaller, whichever. It doesn't matter. It's all going to get smashed into it anyway. I'm getting butter all over the counter. So, but since I make these on a regular basis now, I keep a stick of butter in the freezer. So once I finish this, before the end of the day, I'll stick another stick of butter into the freezer so that it's ready for next week's breakfast. Yeah, this it gets to where it's hard to hang on to because, like I say, it starts to melt in your hand, and you don't want it. You want it frozen because basically what you end up with is chunks of butter, and it melts while it's in the oven. Speaking of the oven, preheat your oven to 450 degrees, and you'll cook these things for about 12 to 14 minutes, depending on your oven. Everybody's oven is a little bit different. So I was going to try this in my KitchenAid one time, and I don't know, it still might be easier. I don't know. I think it's going to be messy. It's messy either way. You just got to be careful when you get down to the end. Your hands are slippery with the butter. Make sure that you don't slice your finger, end up with a little section of your skin in there. When I get down this low, I usually just leave this in there. It's going to get crushed anyway. Try to get most of the butter off of there. Toss it off to the side. See if I can clean up my butter off the counter. All right, let me wash my hands and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Got my hands all clean and I can function again. So I've got my butter in there and flour. And here is my 1 cup of buttermilk. Now I have my pastry cutter. Now you're just going to basically combine everything with this pastry cutter and make yourself a nice dough with it. Mixed up here. Now you can do whatever you want. You can put this on a baking mat. You can put it on a cutting board. I just do it directly on this counter. It's really smooth and it seems to work about as good as anything. Make sure you have plenty of flour on your hands, because now is where the fun begins. This stuff is ooey, it's gooey, it wants to stick to your fingers, it wants to stick to everything that you don't want it to stick to. So you want to be prepared, or you're going to be like me that last time, or the first time I did this, and get pretty frustrated. And then kind of roll it up a little bit, get it kind of in a ball, and where it's not sticking quite so bad to everything. It never gets to where it doesn't stick, but kind of get it into a smooth ball, and then we can begin to pat it out. You can roll it out. My son that lives in Montana, that's a super good cook, he said not to roll it out because you push all the air out of it. Then I've got a biscuit cutter. Now I've got a heart-shaped biscuit cutter, and don't judge me. After we moved, we haven't been able to find our regular biscuit cutter, so I use a heart-shaped biscuit cutter and pull those things out of there, and then we'll put them on the pan. Make sure you put flour on your biscuit cutter every time, or it's going to be sticking to the biscuit cutter. And just cut them all out. Once you get all these out, then we can roll this back up into a ball again. Let me bring my pan over here. Just stick these things in this pan where I put them where they're pretty much touching each other, and they'll expand, but they won't fall over. They'll kind of stick together, and some of them don't end up quite looking like a heart anymore, but that's not, I didn't necessarily do this with the heart-shaped thing to have them looking like a heart. It just, like I say, after we moved, we haven't found our regular biscuit cutter. Kind of mix this all back in again, flatten it out, and just keep flour on your hand, or it's going to be sticking. And just keep repeating this process until you don't have any dough left. And I take usually whatever dough's left, that'd be one big biscuit, and I just leave it like that. And even now, with all the flour I got on, they're still sticking a little bit. My concern is always doing this is that I did this making homemade tortillas the one time I made them. Is I ended up with so much flour on the tortillas that's just about all you can taste was the flour, and I tried to avoid doing that, and sometimes in doing that I end up with a lot of frustration. But so now I don't worry about the potential of a flour taste. I just use as much flour as necessary to make it where it's not quite so difficult. We'll get one more biscuit out of here, and then the last little bit will be one biscuit in itself, and it won't be heart-shaped. Yeah, I get a lot of comments about the heart-shaped biscuits, but it's not intentional. Then we'll just leave that one just like that. Put it in the pan, and that gave me 3, 6, 9, 11 biscuits. And we'll eat some of those for breakfast today, and the rest of them we'll just kind of munch on throughout the week. Well, let me go ahead and stick these things in the oven, and I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, guys, I got these biscuits done. These biscuits came out really nice. Look at this, nice and golden brown. They open up really nice. You put some of these when they're still hot. They've cooled off now. Put some butter on that. Butter melts. Now you can have them with biscuits and gravy. We just had them with our morning breakfast this morning. Absolutely amazing. They're very soft. They're very easy to eat. They're not dry. That butter that you mix in there, that frozen butter, as it melts, it just all that goodness throughout the entire biscuit. Give this thing a try. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you add anything to it, if you do anything different, if you add any oil with it, which I've done once before, anything that you do differently, go ahead and leave me something in the comment section. Let me know what you did. I'm really looking forward to hearing those results, but I think this is one of the best biscuits out there, and I do kind of like the heart shape. No judging. Again, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Look forward to hearing your comments back, and until next time, have a great day.